Good day, everyone. I am RCLLalap from DEVCOM 206 Section D, and I will be discussing the first part of Module 1, which covers the introduction and the nature of development communication materials. This section lays the foundation for understanding why communication is such a powerful tool in development work. The objectives of this module is for us to learn and to be able to describe what development communication materials are, and identify the appropriate communication media and materials for a particular development work or DevCom situation. So for this part, I will be discussing what development communication is, as well as the nature of DevCom materials. So to start this module, let us define what is development communication. According to Dr. Nora C. Cabral, the mother of development communication, she defined DevCom as the art and science of human communication applied to the speedy transformation of a country and the mass of its people from poverty to a dynamic state of economic growth that makes possible greater social equality and the larger fulfillment of human potential. This definition emphasizes that DevCom is not only about information sharing. It is communication with a clear development purpose, which is to educate, to motivate, and to empower people so they can participate in social change. Now, in this process, communication materials are essential. The topic for this module emphasizes that they are not mere products but vehicles of development message, whether in the form of posters or brochures or comics or radio programs. Before we go into the nature of DevCom materials, let me ask you this question. What do you think is the difference between traditional com materials and DevCom materials? Okay, we will revisit this question later after the discussion. Now let's proceed to the nature of DevCom materials. According to our module, DevCom materials are distinct from commercial or purely entertainment media. They are designed with development objectives in mind, and they have six important characteristics according to Dr. Juan F. Hamias. They are purposive, pragmatic, mass-oriented, scientific in outlook, relevant, and value-laden. Let's go through each of them and start with the first one. Purposive. DevCom materials are purposive. So what does this mean? It means that these materials are created with the specific goals in mind, such as to educate, to motivate, or guide people toward improvement. We communicate not only to inform, but also to influence the behavior of the receiver of the information. So I have here an example, it's a poster that shows purposive characteristic. During the COVID-19 pandemic, barangay health centers displayed hand washing posters with one clear goal, which is to stop the spread of the virus. These weren't just informative, they guided people through a specific life-saving action through proper hand washing. This shows how purposive DevCom materials are created with urgent and concrete goals, and in this case, protecting public health and saving communities during the pandemic. Now let's proceed with the second characteristic, which is pragmatic. DevCom materials are pragmatic because they focus on practicality and function. They are useful in real life. They don't just inform people, they guide them towards specific and doable goals. So I have here an example, an infographic about solid waste management. This infographic is pragmatic because it goes beyond raising awareness. It points out waste problems. It shows where action is needed, and offers clear practices like reduction, segregation, recycling that communities and policymakers can actually use. All right, let's proceed to the third characteristic, which is mass-oriented. DevCom materials are mass-oriented because they are designed for the masses. They are designed for the masa, the ordinary people, especially the marginalized groups. They are inclusive and accessible. They are not exclusive or elitist. I have here an example poster from Medical Action Group, Our Health, Our Right. This is a good example of the mass-oriented characteristic of DEFCON material. It uses Filipino language and simple, inclusive phrasing so that ordinary citizens, especially the marginalized group, can easily understand it. By emphasizing health as a right for everyone, this poster reaches beyond technical audiences and speaks to the masses, which is exactly what mass-oriented DevCom materials are designed to do. Now, let's proceed to the fourth characteristic, which is scientific in outlook. DevCom materials are scientific in outlook because they are anchored in facts and evidences. Their credibility comes from being grounded in systematic approach. So I have here a question. How can you communicate something you yourself don't understand? In our textbook, it says that development communicator is encouraged to be proficient in technical field in order to be better equipped to communicate developmental messages. I would like to share with you one of the publications that we have in our office. This is Picard Comics, titled ang food feed system sa kambingan ni Tim. This is a great example of scientific and outlook characteristic of DevCom materials. The information from in the comics came directly from the subject matter experts, ensuring that the content is accurate and evidence-based. And at the same time, the technical information is translated or popularized or laymanized into a and put into a comic book format, making it more engaging and easy to understand for farmers, students, and community members. The fifth characteristic is relevant. DevCom materials are relevant because they respond to people's actual needs, concerns, and contexts. It makes com materials meaningful and effective. Unlike the mass media, these are the topics that are given less attention to. These are the non-traditional topics like agriculture, science and technology, health, environment, population, poverty, and so on, etc. So I have here an example poster from Department of Health or DOH. It's Alas 4 contra Mosquito. This is a DOH this DOH poster encourages communities to clean their surroundings every 4 p.m. to prevent dengue. It is relevant because it tackles a recurring health threat, especially during the rainy season, and promotes a preventive action that households can easily follow. And finally, DEFCON materials are value laden. Unlike commercial media that usually focus on profit or persuasion, DEFCON materials always carry certain values or advocacies. So for example, this PIA or Philippine Information Agency poster on gender equality is value laden because it goes beyond giving information. It promotes fairness and inclusivity by advocating equal opportunities for women and men in leadership and decision making. Unlike commercial posters, it carries a strong social message, which is gender equality is essential for building stronger communities. Now, let's go back to my question earlier about the difference between traditional com material and DevCom material. My answer to that is that they are both communication materials, but the difference is their purpose. Traditional communication materials usually provide general information, focus on events, and are often centered on entertainment and news. While on the other hand, DEFCON materials are designed with specific purpose to support development goals. They are also people and community oriented, and they focus on critical issues like science, environment, agriculture, population, poverty, like what I've mentioned earlier. And rather than reporting events alone, they emphasize the bigger picture and ongoing process of development. This makes DevCo materials more ordinary products because they serve as tools for empowerment, guiding people toward transformation and carrying values that build a better society. So to summarize my presentation or this report, development communication is more than just information sharing. It is communication with a purpose. As Dr. Cabral emphasized, It is both an art and science that drives transformation. Building on this, Dr. Juan F. Hamias described that DEFCON materials are purposive, pragmatic, mass-oriented, scientific in outlook, relevant, and value-laden. I just want to share with you that in my work as an editor as and layout artist of publications in the agriculture, aquatic, and natural resources sector, I apply these principles by transforming technical research into materials that farmers, fisherfolk, and other stakeholders can easily understand and use. This is what makes development communication truly meaningful. It bridges the knowledge and practice and empowering communities in the process. As I end my report, I'd like to leave you with these two questions to reflect on and discuss. The first one is, looking at current issues in society, where do you think DEFCO materials are most needed today and why? And then the second one, among the six characteristics of DEFCO materials, which do you think is the most challenging to apply in real life practice? So these are the two questions I'd like you to think about, and I hope these questions encourage you to connect what we've learned to real world situations. So these are the references that I used in my presentation, and this ends my presentation for this module. I hope you have learned something from me, and thank you for listening. And I look forward to learning from all of you as well. Thank you and mabuhay.